to me. Great. We have just 2 apps left. I'd like to welcome our next presenter from a company called G3, Bruce G, and the app is ImageQuest. Welcome, Bruce.
Great, thanks. Tough act to follow.
Yeah, that's tough.
Cool. That's cool. That's great. That's great.
So you're cooler though, right?
And I know Schiller's admin too. I used to work for Phil Schiller.
I live a block away from him.
Okay.
He has this black room that has an iPad in it. I know it. But what does ImageQuest do?
Yes, ImageQuest is a new type of puzzle game. Actually, I developed this because my teenage son kept harassing me, saying, "You got to do something for the App Store. You got to make an iPhone app." I've been a Mac developer for about 10 years, and so I finally succumbed to him just so he would stop nagging me, and we came up with this game called ImageQuest. ImageQuest is a puzzle game where you see a series of images, and what you have to do is find the link between those images to find a common word. We call these pictonym puzzles, sort of like a synonym, except it's with pictures. Another way to think of it is a reverse Google image search. So if you did a Google image search and you came up with a whole series of pictures, now pretend you get a whole series of pictures, and you have to guess, well, what was that keyword that you entered in?
Can you show it to us?
Sure. We're just going to just click on this. How do we stop it there? Middle.
I think escape will stop.
Escape will stop it. Good. So the game has two modes: a standard play where you play against yourself, or a tournament play where you play against others. There's over 30 levels of play in there, a total of over 500 puzzles in there. We have, if you look at that, in total, I think there's over 8,000 different images. We licensed a whole big library from Getty Images to include on here. So here you see a series of images, and you're going, well, what's the common link between them? You see a flag and some iced tea and an icebreaker, and the word is ice. According to how fast you solve it, if you get the word right, and how fast you solve it, you sort of get bonus points. Here, this category is also called 3 please. So all the words in this have 3 letters. Oh, we also have this hint button. So if you sort of get stuck, it'll give you the first letter. That word was Finn, because they were all a Finnish flag, fins on surfboards. Here's one where you just see, again, all sorts of different types of images, and that one was bag. And some of the pictures are pretty funny on here. Here's one where you see a clock, a big check, and big bird, so that was big on there. I'm just going through these real quickly. Here, that one was gum, because there was a Gumby and gum under the table. And that one, last one was ace. At the end of the game, you get a score on there. You can post your scores on there, and you see sort of the worldwide scores on there. I want to stop there.
Hopefully it stopped.
I hope that stopped it. Yeah, that stopped it.
Yep.
And so you could post your scores to see how you did against other people. We have this tournament mode where you could play against other people around the world, and you get a whole different series of you get the same set of pictures, and you sort of play a time game against each other to see how you could do on that.
Very cool. How much does this cost?
Costs 99 cents. It's available on the App Store now.
Really cheap.
It's a pretty simple game, but it's a lot of fun because it sort of it builds on your sort of your visual vocabulary and how you could connect a lot of those different pieces together. Some people are interested in it for actually in the school in brain therapy for people who just as they come out of a stroke, just trying to recognize pictures and how they all could be related to each other. I saw a Japanese customer said like, oh, that's a great way to learn English so they can know what sort of the English vernacular and seeing that a word could mean lots of different things and be used in different contexts.
That's really cool. What's the key to making a game like this? Because there's so many games for the iPhone, and we all think iPad is going to have a lot of games like this, because this is going to be, again, that couch metaphor of sitting on our couch playing these games with our family and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think
what's the key to winning here?
I think it's trying to find something that's a little bit different. So something that is not the same type of puzzle as everyone else, and trying to find something that will attract people who fit a certain profile, who sort of like, you know, puzzle games, but I don't have a verbal vocabulary of knowing, you know, 5-letter words with these letters. You know, there's lots of word games like this. This one's different in that it really sort of builds on that visual vocabulary. And it's funny, you see some people who really could connect the dots and see a bunch of pictures and really automatically come and say, oh, that's, you know, that's a row, even though there's 5 different discrete pictures that are nothing. You know, you can see a person in a boat, a crossword puzzle, a spreadsheet, and crops, and they say, oh, of course it's row. Another person will just sort of scratch their head and say, well, what the heck is that on there? So it's sort of a fun sort of brain twister, but doesn't require you to have the huge spelling vocabulary to get these right.
Do you think you're going to see a team version of this where we pass the iPhone around the family dinner table and like I'm racing against you?
Yeah, I think what we want to do is something like that. We see a lot of people playing like they like to play with each other, sort of pass it back and forth to try to make sort of that group on there. We also have ideas in the future to make it so that people could submit their own words and bring their own pictures. Trying to do things that are more on a vertical category. We had one category which we called masterpieces, which was sort of fine art, you know, works of the great artists. But we decided to take that out of the game because the engineer said that's too hard. There's no way anyone's going to be able to figure this out. So it's trying to find that fine line of something that's not too hard, but not too easy on there.
One thing I really like about this and other games like Gowalla is the visual richness. How challenging was it to come out with that visual richness? I noticed the background had this really interesting pattern.
It was. We spent a lot of time testing this out, putting it in front of users, and coming up with good quality pictures. It's actually, for each of those words, it takes, you know, it takes a long time to think of how those different words can be used and finding appropriate images on there.
Very cool. Do we have any questions from the audience?
And we're going to give something away. Do we have a minute?
Yeah.
We're gonna do that at the end. We've got some promo codes to give away, so stick around and we'll give them away for ImageQuest and some other apps.
Okay.
Cool. And where did we find your app? How do we find it?
You can search for at the App Store under ImageQuest, 99 cents, and it's ready and available.
Very cool.
Great.
Do we have any questions? Scanning. No questions. Okay.
Great.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Rob.
Thanks.